Welcome to the Sleon Productions podcast, where we interview authors, speakers, entrepreneurs, business owners. And today we have a business owner that I met at my local church here in Florida. Khai Clancy. He's the owner of Flawless Consulting, which offers access to trade lines and credit boosting tools to accelerate the credit repair journey for you. Khai, welcome to the Sleon Productions podcast.
Hey man, I'm excited to be on. How we met was really cool. We met just outside of one of our church events for like the leaders and the guys that like run crews, guys and girls that run crew. And so from the jump, your personality was just super inviting, and I'm glad that we were able to connect, man. And thank you for inviting me onto your show. It was a quick meet.
Anytime, man. Yeah, because I see your Instagram a lot, and like, I mean, you're a hustler. You like to work out as well. And also, it's funny because usually when you bump into another entrepreneur or business owner, you kind of have like the same vibe, so you kind of
Mhm.
get along a little faster. But, anyways, to get started, Kai, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, 25 years old. Have been in the credit repair space for going on 5 years now. Helped over, 1,500 clients, thankfully. And, I've always looked for, my why in a way. And I went like on not a soul searching, but a soul searching journey when I was in corporate America. I was 18 going on 19 years old, and I went to an event called the Young and Reckless event. And one of the guys there, his name was Casey Thompson, great guy. And he just had one of those like personalities where I was like, okay, that's a guy. That's someone that isn't, selling snake oil. He's an operator. And I went there with the idea like, okay, I need to find my why. How do I find my why? How do I, find that reason that's going to make me work 15 to 20 hours a day and not really worry about it? So I went outside and I talked to him and I asked him, I said, just that, how'd you find your why? And he looked at me and said, listen, because at the time too, like he was jumping, right? So he first got his first couple million, creating like an LSAT course. From that LSAT course, sold it, exited, and then created a online casino. From online casinos, went to online sports betting, and then at the time he was getting into like the banking for like the medical marijuana side, right? All super, sporadic and different problems, right? And he said, listen, to get any type of sale, you have to solve a problem, right? If you want to be an industry leader, you have to solve a problem that a bunch of people are having. So that was my why. I was like, okay, I need to go and find my problem that I'm going to be solving, right? So at that time, I was still in corporate America. Found a guy who lived in my like neighborhood because I grew up in downtown Phoenix, Arizona, and it wasn't a prevalent area. It wasn't super nice, but we had like, some scenic areas where you can get some cool photos. And he was this kid, Alex Stein, standing on this Bentley. And I'm like, that's my neighborhood. I used to walk that street every single day coming home from high school. And kids in my neighborhood don't have Bentleys, Bentegas. Like, what do they do? Like, what's this guy doing? Right. Especially in my area. And so I follow him. And then for a while, I'm just like following their journey. And then they post on their story, hey, we're looking to hire. Like, if you're wanting a job, send me a 30-second clip of why you should work for us. And I've already had that work drive, right? Like, I already had that. No one's going to beat me. I looked at like, business and sales as like a sport, a game, right? And so I was very excited to be able to take it to the next level and really learn sales, because when you're a corporate recruiter, that's what I was doing, people are kind of selling you on why they should have this job, right? Most of the recruiting came from a lot of outsourcing and a lot of the marketing. So it was inbound leads. And at that point, they're just scrolling. And the good guys, I always learned another thing, for something that I truly learned was the good guys have a job, right? You're kind of like headhunting them. And so just some food for thought for anybody that's hiring. Anybody that's looking for a job, kind of a red flag. Why are they looking for a job? Different times in life, but it is what it is. Long story short, though, so he told me, hey, do you want this job? Because I was at like a dinner. not in the place to be able to film this video at all. And I, get a response was, hey, do you want the effing job? With that same verbiage, right? I'm like, I do. I do want this job. I want to work with you guys. So I went outside. I was in front of Olive Garden. Like, hey, I don't know what you guys do, but if you guys give me this job, there's no one that's going to be able to outwork me. Um, I left my super cozy with benefits, um, you know, huge corporate company to go and sell education and like real estate education and kind of get into the entrepreneur space, right? And there was no guarantee. It was kind of taking 2 steps backwards, but I knew it was going to be 3 steps forward. Thankful that I made that decision, right? Because within the first 6 months, me and the guy that I worked for, his name was Tino, put up like 1.2 million in cold hard cash collected. And that's coming from, I knew that we did well, but I didn't really ever see numbers, right, of what we were doing at these like other companies. And to see the invoices and to see what was possible, my mind was blown. So during that time, though, I was talking to a lot of entrepreneurs, talking to a lot of guys that were either leaving their space from trucking, from, taxes, everything under God's green earth to get into wholesale real estate. Because the thing that people have is they get like this shiny object syndrome where they can't lock into one thing and be the best at that one thing for 10 to 15 years. So that was also part of my why. Like, what am I going to be able to find that's going to be able to pay the bills for the next 10 to 15 years that I eventually will be the best at? I was talking to this guy who was getting ready to leave this industry, kind of just had his team in a way like fall apart. And I was, told him like, hey, it's like 30 grand. He's like, I'm not paying 30 grand. You know what I mean? Like, but I, regardless, found out what credit repair was, right? So I told him like, hey, I have somebody that I know that needs credit repair really badly. And he was like, okay, well, I can tell you this price and you can either pay me for the price or you can pay me this price and learn credit repair. So I started bringing deals, started learning the game, partnered up, and that was my why. Slowly but surely, just kind of became the credit guy, right? Kind of became like, in my mind, I didn't want anyone to ever talk about credit. Didn't want anyone to ever like have that like angst and then not have like Khai come into their mind of, oh, I can have it fixed, right? So that was my problem solved. And slowly but surely, we've been able to build a culture with the guys that we have on our team. I'm thankful for the 14 guys that we have right now. And by the end of the year, we're on track to be able to have 30 because we're on like a really deep hiring spree. And once we get to 42, we're going to kind of readjust and, see what the next benchmark will be. But I'm thankful that my why is centered in being able to like really help people and get to that next level. Because all credit repair is putting a band-aid on and being able to help them like heal a wound, right? And let them know that they're not going to be in that same position through education again. So sorry for the long-winded answer, but that is how we got into credit repair.
No, no, that's very good. And like you're saying, it's pretty much is a wound. Credit repair is part of life. If you don't have good credit, you can't get a car, you can't get a house, you can't get a rental. I think they check your credit for rentals now.
Some
Um,
jobs. There's like
and also jobs too, right?
yep, government agencies and stuff. There's some certain jobs. And think about it though. If you're going to be working with finances, you should probably have a decent understanding of your credit. Credit wasn't something that was taught in high school. It wasn't something that was taught. You don't get like a pamphlet when you're 18 years old to do taxes and how to like have good credit. A lot of people kind of stumble upon good credit and they won't shut up about it. Like I have like a 750, I always tell my guys like, hey, when you go home for Thanksgiving, for any holiday, just ask a question like, how's your credit? If somebody gets weird, you need to refer them to Flawless Consulting. Okay. If they have great credit, they're going to tell you everything under God's green earth about why they have good credit, what they did to get good credit, how you can have good credit too, how it's not that hard. So yeah, definitely.
Would you know the percentage of America of how many have bad credit versus good credit from the top of your head?
I know that there's like a delinquency rate of it's the highest delinquency rate that we've ever had of bankruptcy in like since the Great Depression, like pre-Great Depression. So 80% of Americans do have some type of blemish on their credit. Being less than so having bad credit, right? People think like, oh, I have a 650 or a 680. Anything above a 700 is like decent credit, right? But when you hit that 750, to 850 mark, that's perfect credit,
Open
right?
doors.
Exactly. Well, perfect credit is just it's like this. Everyone's like, I want to be an 800, but if you're above a 750, you have perfect credit. Have a chip on your shoulder. Yeah, at that point, it's just age. So the main thing that you have to know about credit is 35% of your credit profile is based off of your payment history. 30% of it is your utilization, right? So that's 65% of your profile right there. And then it's like the mix of accounts. So you want to be able to have anywhere between 3 to 4 revolving lines of credit, 1 to 2 installment accounts.
For those who might not be familiar, what exactly are trade lines, and
Yeah,
how do they help in boosting credit scores?
that's a beautiful question, right? So a lot of people, I mean, we offer trade lines. We've been able to work with some banks recently to where now we're going to be able to offer primary lines of credit as well. And that's something that's like kind of a secret that if people listen to this podcast, they'll be able to hear. And anybody in the credit repair space, if you listen to this podcast and you have questions about that, reach out to us because this is
Exclusive
something,
offer.
it's new. It's definitely new to the industry to be able to do it legally, and to be able to do it, correctly. Because the bank that we're working with is, they're huge. But the good thing about authorized users is the bank's only going to lend you what you've been lent before times two, right? So I was explaining that your actual 3-digit score doesn't really have too much to like do with the actual like how much you make in a way, right? That's more on an underwriting standpoint, the debt to income ratio, but the utilization does, right? And so let's just say that you have an authorized user card that has $10,000, and then you have your own primary card that only has $1,000 limit. It's a lot easier to use 30% of your primary card's limit than it is to use 30% of the authorized user's line of credit. And so what you use those accounts for is you would go to add an authorized user, and then within the time of it being reported on your profile, you would go and apply for other loans as well. But authorized users, I mean, like anything, people are going to kind of catch on, and Flawless Consulting looks at it from an underwriting standpoint. So what's the likelihood this person's going to be able to take a loan out and then they're going to pay me back, right? And so there's other ways to be able to work around that nowadays. We use them still because there's still a good place for them. If you're a college student, you have no credit, throwing an AU is a lot easier. And then going and like applying to like a city, or I mean, Chase has great programs. Bank of America has great programs. Navy Federal has phenomenal programs. And these are all programs that you could reach out to us and we can give you help with, just like the Ollie. Nothing that we will charge you or anything like that. We'll just be able to send you a link, and it'll be like a quick approval.
Yeah, and this stuff is very accessible if you contact Khai. Khai, what are the most common misconceptions do people have about credit repair?
Yeah, that it's debt consolidation, right? So my job isn't going and having you pay month to month to be able to have me store up a little bit of a pool of money and then negotiate on your behalf at like 60 cents on the dollar, which would I like really be 30 cents on the dollar, and then just keep that 30 cents. We're using consumer-based laws to be able to dispute on your behalf, right? So like the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, HIPAA laws for medical bills, and then there's like 1,000 ways to be able to skin a cat, right? So the thing that makes us different is we'll be able to get the job done legally without putting you in a bind as well. So if you come to Flawless, you never really guarantee results, but we have like a money back guarantee, which kind of saves me. So if nothing changes in 90 days for our clients, we give them a full refund. And then if we go up to 6 months, we don't see at least 60 to 70% of the accounts deleted, we'll give them a 50% refund, right? And so put our money where our mouth is because of the confidence we have in our program.
No, no, it's great.
Yeah.
Do you guys deal with student loans much?
Yeah. So student loans, I mean, Uncle Sam he's gonna get his money, right? So that's like kind of the only loan that I let people know, like you're still liable for the loan for all the loans. But if it's not on your credit report, what's really tying it to you? But with Uncle Sam, with it being a federal loan, unless you refinance to like a private company, they will garnish your wages, right? But you won't have that blemish on your profile to be able to, go get that house. That's what we're doing is we're making it so that you don't have to wait 7 to 10 years to go and live your dreams, right? Like we said earlier, you can't really do anything without credit. You can't finance steam off a hot dog with bad credit, is what I like to tell my friends. And so having not perfect credit, but good credit above a 640 is very important.
Yeah. Have a decent amount, 640, 750 above. That's just key numbers you got to think about. Kai, how can improving one's credit score change their financial opportunities?
Yeah. So I mean, I let people know it's like a quick. I love analogies, but growing up, it was always more expensive being cheap, right? So I mean, I don't come from like a silver spoon, and I would wake up and my older brother would put $2 on the counter for me to ride the bus. I'd be a bus pass to and from, right? And that was what, $60 a month, $50 a month, depending on how many days we would go to school. When unless I would have just paid, $15 to $20 up front to be able to get the bus pass, right? Instead of paying double. And so what a lot of people don't really understand is with interest rates, points of interest, if I'm able to save you 1 to 2 points on a 30-year fixed rate, that's $70,000 per one, percent. So if it's 3%, it's $140,000. A $750, $1,500 credit repair package pays for itself right there, right? But it just opens up doors that, and when you go to a dealership with good credit, you're not selling them on why you should have the car. They're selling you on why you should drive away that day. So
Love
food
it.
for thought, though, always go to like a credit union, your private bank to be able to get pre-approval so that they aren't blasting your credit, because non-account holding inquiries, which is what they, run polls on your credit, drop your score 5 to 9 points. And you can only have 2 a year per bureau before it becomes like a red flag to lenders. So
Quite interesting.
more food for thought for you guys.
Have you seen some worst cases, man? Kai, you cannot help me. I mean, my history is impossible, but can you say nothing's impossible?
Yeah. No, I mean, I have a profile. I don't know how deep you get with the editing, but like $200,000, $300,000 worth of negative debt, like removed within 6 months. So, and that's like the longest my program will go. And that's multiple accounts of like $3,500 accounts, $15,000 accounts. And that's the thing. Having less than perfect credit doesn't mean then you're a less than perfect, human. You went through a blemish in life, right? COVID really set a lot of people back. 2008 set a lot of people back.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, tons of people. And so you did it once, you do it again. A lot of people don't want to have to wait that time. And I mean, like, there's guys on, I won't say any names, but they're killers, absolute units in the space of commercial real estate in New York. And they have like, I look at their credit profile, their mortgage payments are like $1 million for these huge buildings, right? And we're getting late payments updated to positive. It's the same program, same process, right? And so it's just how much negative debt is associated and how much time do you have, right? We're
There's a
never.
science behind it, isn't it?
One more time.
There is a science behind it.
It's a science, and then it's also like, I feel conversations are always beat by expectations, right? So I feel like I paid for a service that I didn't get. And if I'm telling my clients, hey, this is the timeline that you're going to get this done in, and you're going to be able to go and apply for these loans, you're going to be able to go and refinance. That guy comes back to me because, he had a deadline and I was able to meet that deadline the first time. Right. And so I became his credit guy. It happens to a lot of people that have, just because you have like, a decent amount of cash doesn't mean that you are always going to remember to pay your credit card bill. So there is a science to it, but also just the confidence in being able to just know, like, if you come into the program, you're going to get what you pay for.
That's awesome. Are there any recent trends or changes in the credit repair industry that people should be aware of?
I mean, there's always new ways to be able to dispute, right? There was like and sometimes the old ways come around full circle and become like the new hot thing again, right? With like Metro 2 and heck, during COVID, we were circling, like it looked damn near like a crayon was circling on the credit report, and that would have like the inconsistencies on a credit report, and that would have things be removed, right? And so right now we're going to the CFPB. If you want to be able to dispute this stuff yourself, you could definitely go out there and freeze your all three credit bureaus, right? And then start sending complaints about that specific account to TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, and then go file complaints at the CFPB. The CFPB is the big police, right, for consumers, and you can only have so many complaints a year before they shut your business down. Let's just say a furnishing company like Chase. Chase is making millions of dollars a minute, just through transaction fees. And if they were to get shut down for a $20,000 account for an audit for a CFPB complaint, just doesn't make sense to them, right? And this is another thing too. When these accounts go charged off, you're not hurting Chase Bank. Chase Bank opened up an insurance policy when they brought you onto it as a client for, just say your, line of credit was $20,000, and they know that with interest and it being completely maxed out, it's going to go to $25,000 before they charge the card off. They're going to open up a $25,000 insurance policy. They're going to get that money back from the insurance policy. Then at the end of the year, they're going to write it off to Uncle Sam. Right? They already got their money back times two. And then most consumers are going to feel like their back's up against the wall when they say that they're going to sue them, and they're going to settle for pennies on the dollar, right? Which that's at that point getting their money back 3 times. So what we do is, we're not saying that it's not their account. We're just asking them to provide the correct documentation to prove that it should be on the credit profile, right? And a lot of times, 99%, I would not have this job if it wasn't working. And so, yeah, thankful.
Yeah, no. Really makes sense. And like you were saying, these credit scores, they're very important. And people are hungry to get that fixed. Hey, I can't
Yes.
get this certain car or this certain house because my credit is in deep in the hole. But a
Contrary,
person
right?
like Kai can help you out.
I mean, no one wakes up and is like, you know what? I want to go spend 750, 1,000, $1,500 with this kid to be able to get my credit repaired, right? You heard no. There's some type of pain behind that. There's some type of fuel, right? And we have to kind of tear the band-aid off and look at the wound and see what's hurt. We go through what's negatively impacting them right now, if they're in a better position, how to get them out of that position. Our credit audits are free. You don't have to sign up for us, like for our program, to be able to have a free credit audit. You just hit me up. You just reach out to our company, either myself at Khai Clancy on Instagram, or our website is flawless.credit, just www.flawless.credit, and people can get free audits with my team. So
There you have it. Free audits. Talk to Kai, really nice guy. He'll reach out, help you out. He's seen the impossible. He's seen the worst.
everything. No, it's the best feeling. That's why it's my why, right? There's been countless times of people kind of just like at that like last strand of hope, right? They reached out to us because they couldn't get that car, they couldn't get that house, they couldn't put their family in a secure position, and now they're ready to do anything, right? And so nobody wants to be sold. Everybody wants to go shopping with their friends, and they find like lifelong friends here at Flawless because we're able to educate them, get them out of that position, but then they get what they pay for, right? They're gonna get the results that they're looking for. All I ask is you send us like a nice selfie in front of the car or the house once you get it, because it is gonna happen. It's just having real expectations and a real understanding that it's a partnership, right? Don't go out there. Don't take any new lines of credit out or apply for new lines of credit while we're working on your profile. Don't admit to the debt by getting on the phone. And keep my free score now open, and you'll be good. If you're my current client, those are the 3 things I ask you to do. So they know.
Kai, you're a very young guy. You say you're 25 years old. You started at 20. What would you say to a person or give advice to others that want to be an entrepreneur, that want to
Right.
start a business? No age, like they could be 51, but what's your advice towards them?
Yeah, fail forward, right? I remember I was really young, and it was actually my brother's mentor. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna move into this apartment, which was downtown. It's like I'm gonna get like a new laptop. I'm gonna get this cool desk. I was telling him all the things I was gonna get, and then he was like, but then what? Right? And everyone wants to be perfect. Everyone wants to have the perfect situation, but just fail forward and don't have a plan B. When your mind has a plan B, like, oh, if this doesn't work out, I'm gonna be able to get a job there. You've already come to terms that it's not gonna work out, right? So I woke up every single day just pushing to get 1% better for one, but knowing that there's no plan B, right? This is everything. Flawless consulting will work. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful to have that mindset. And I'm thankful that my team has that mindset as well. I don't wake up with any type of guarantee in the morning. None of us wake up with the guarantee that we're going to wake up. So if we wake up, we've already won right there. And that's cliche, but it's the truth, right? How many people wake up with all like life altering, diseases and, situations, or someone die? It's crazy, right? And so if you wake up and you have that mindset that it's always going to work out, and let's be honest, God has really helped with that. Like really helped building a relationship. People say like, oh, like you're really in the church. It's like that's my community, but my religion is my relationship with God, right? And so I'm thankful for that relationship that I've been able to build, and it always works out. It really does. If you put your mind to it and you don't do wrong, good's gonna happen for sure. And how you do anything, how you do everything.
I love it, Kai. This is very motivating. I cannot end it any better than this. What is the best way to reach you online, Kai, and also your company's website information? So hey, look, I got some damage in my credit report,
Right.
and I need to get this fixed ASAP because I'm gonna be kicked out soon.
Right. Tell them, reach out to us. My Instagram, Khai Clancy, Flawless Consulting on Instagram, www.flawless.credit on online, and just shoot us a text or shoot me like a DM. Shoot me a text on our website. Being transparent, we'll probably get rid of the number. We are going through some type of like audit to get this cool plaque that they offer with one of the CRMs that we use. It's like $1 million plaque, and it'll only be good for like marketing and stuff. So to be CROA compliant, you have to get rid of your number. So if you have any questions, reach out to me on Instagram. That's the long-winded answer for that one.
Yeah, Kai is very approachable on Instagram. Text him. I give him a call. He also mentioned free audit reports, so you check out. You don't have to pay anything up front. See where you're at. And he said, "Look, man, this is what you need to do. Let's get started today because we can get this fixed as soon as possible." But there you have it, Khai Clancy, and I really appreciate you coming on to the sleon Productions podcast.
Bro, I really appreciate you having me. You're the greatest. I'll see you on a Sunday at church, and I have a few other people I want to connect you with for this podcast. This is huge.
Hey, they're more than welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Awesome.